Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Bloodmaul Slag Mines. Xeno Warrior Princess here, guiding you through this challenge mode as a warrior. This instance will be a pretty good one for warriors and DKs because of all the interrupts and spell copies you can do. But it is still melee unfriendly because of the enforcers. The enforcers are the big ogres with the big mauls, the big maces. They do a frontal cleave called Crush, and it does one-shot you if you stand in 2 or more. So you always have to make sure that the tank stands still with the mobs as good as you can, and you have to stay behind them. The Geomancers are the one you need to interrupt, especially Stone Bulwark is what you want to interrupt. But you will see it further on. Alright, let's go. We pre-pot, we pull the first 2 packs, watch out for the Crushes, single target the Geomancer and cleave the rest, and get as many interrupts as you can. Then afterwards, when these are dead, we will move on to the left. Don't forget to pop everything on this pack, just to have it ready again later on. So Recklessness, Ravager, Bladestorm, Sweeping Strikes, the usual. The 3 slavers that stand on the left side of this hallway, you're gonna have to pull 2 out of 3 of those to have enough enemies killed. We will pull all 3, as you can see. That's just a small mistake. Remember, interrupt Bloodmaul Geomancers, the Stone Bulwark is what you need to interrupt. If they do get it off, then someone's gonna have to dispel it. Otherwise, they absorb way too much and you just lose lots of DPS and thus lots of time. So interrupt Stone Bulwark and just keep cleaving and standing out of the crushes. As you'll see, I'll wreck myself here because I didn't check myself by one of those crushes. So yeah, we'll just release and run back. It's only the beginning, so you don't waste too much time. In order to survive the next pull, the DK will pop army here and will run all the way through to the big lava lord. Do not do this if you don't have proper cooldowns, you will die. So just run all the way through with army if you have it, and then go to the boss and kill the single target, the lava ball, while you cleave the other adds. And watch out for aggro here. Healers will get a lot of aggro, so it's very important to that the DK keeps taunting and keeps the aggro on him. The next pull right before the boss is a pretty tricky one as well, because there will be shamans or something, can't remember the name of their mobs, but they will give bloodlust to random people, and when they have the bloodlust you cannot interrupt them, and one of the other people can do a fear. So if you have the bloodlust and they cast the fear, the roar, then you can't interrupt it. So it's really important to make sure you spell steal or purge the bloodlust, and that you're ready with the interrupt on the fear. Fear is what's gonna kill you here if it gets fucked. Normally you pop heroism on this boss and do a proper pre-pot, but since we pulled in quite fast and forgot the time warp anyway, we're gonna pop it afterwards on and do an extra big pull, like 3 or 4 packs, and then pop bloodlust on those, and we'll just do this boss casually. Also, if you do wait before pulling this boss, then you will also give everyone time to respec the single target, which will help a lot. But none of us really had a single target spec, so we pulled it anyway. A small trick you can do here, if you have a hunter, you can pop aspect of the fox, and while it's active you can respec while you move, so it saves a little bit of time, so everyone can respec back to his main AoE spec. This pack before the next boss will have those 2 mages or shamans again, and one guy in the middle, he will cast a fear. So again, you need to interrupt as much as you can and spell steal the bloodlust really fast, otherwise you cannot interrupt them anymore. So watch out for the fear, that's what you really need to interrupt, the fear from the middle guy. The patrol that we skipped before, we're gonna pull it later, because we need to kill it to have enough enemies killed, and also to be able to to get through with invisibility potion. So be careful on the boss, do not pop a potion again, do not pop a potion in combat, because we're gonna have to use invisibility potion after this boss. This is the ultimate kill yourself boss in most challenge modes here, so just watch out. The lava boulders that drop down, they come in a random order. If you're lucky, they go all the way from left to right and it's easy to dodge them. But as you can see, they will be completely random. Start in the middle, then go left and then go right, and then you need to go in the opposite direction and then they come back, and then you need to go in another direction, and then later on there will be fire. So yeah, it just takes practice. If you're melee, it's a little bit easier. Ranged actually has it harder here. But yeah, just practice on this maybe before you do the challenge mode, because if everyone dies here, it's pretty shit, because it's a 100% kill if you survive this boss. The part after this is really easy. So just really be prepared for this boss. We're gonna skip the next following Ogrons by letting one guy get the aggro, run all the way to the right, and the other group runs to the left. The guy can then die and we'll rest him. If you have a mage or a hunter, you could do it too, although mage might get one-shotted. Best person to do it is a hunter if you have it, because he can feign death and deterrence to get through it. If you do need these two people to have enough enemies killed, then well, it's not only a big waste of time, because they're like the hardest to kill, they have the most HP, but they're also really dangerous when they come in too, because they do a fuckload of AoE. Now these last mobs, the flame breakers, they're gonna do a channeling flame cost. You can copy it and even reflect it as a warrior, but it's not always that doesn't always work, because if you copy it and you do it on them, it doesn't always do damage. It's a bit bug. But yeah, just AoE them now and they're not that dangerous. Most important is to know how the last boss works, because he will cost something called Molten Blast, and you do not interrupt it, never interrupt it as a warrior. What you want to do here, especially with this setup, is you want him to cast it on the DK, and he can copy it, and then the DK will get a buff called Molten Core, and per stack of Molten Core he will gain 10% more damage. And not only will he have copied it and get the buff, but the boss will still get the buff because it's only copied and not interrupted. So the boss will have one buff of Molten Core, and then the mage can spell steal Molten Core. But it's really important that you do not do this more than 2 times, because if you have 3 stacks of Molten Core on you, you will do an AoE called Molten Barrage, and it's a really big radius, and the radius is even so big that it aggroes the Ogrons behind us. Now this will happen at the very end, because the DK will get 3 stacks. He forgot to check his stacks, and he will get a 3rd stack of Molten Core, and he will actually pull the Ogrons. Luckily it only happened in the very end and we could just kill the boss. But yeah, then at least you can see what happens if one in the group spell steals too much and you get Molten Core. Or what would happen if the boss gets 3 stacks and he does Molten Barrage on you. But other than that, it's a pretty easy boss. But if you have even 2 DKs, and a mage, then this boss goes down super fast.